conflict with the teachers union, because the teachers union exists, especially I'm gonna talk about New York now. They exist to protect teachers regardless of their competency or their incompetency. They are not children based. That has to be clear. Matter of fact, if you know the history of the teachers union in New York City, they were staunch opposers of community control of schools. And when the mayor took over New York City and made mayoral control, their argument wasn't for the school to have, but for the community to have more control of the school. Their argument was for the teachers union to have more influence in the decision making that happens at the school. Okay? So when I'm bringing in parents and involving them and bringing in community support, and we go from the worst school in the district to the number one middle school 3 years in a row, and now everybody wants their child in that school. That didn't happen without me holding teachers accountable, because I can't go out there and publicly and say, this is the kind of school I have, while I got teachers who don't want to.
Okay, so how long did it take them to remove you?
Oh, well, I was there for 5 years.
5 years.
Yes, and at the end of 5 years, and what I did with the hip hop, this is why this is so important. They tried to get me on misappropriation of funds, because I was doing this stuff outside of the box with hip hop and education and bringing in all of these different programs. And so, because they didn't understand how I was incorporating hip hop into the curriculum, and they knew that that was a big attraction to the school, they used the New York Post and other New York dailies just to say this the rapping principal. He's using money to make videos and buy limos, and they put a picture of me up on the in the paper and made me look like a pimp, you know. And what happened was, after a 3-year investigation, I was totally exonerated, and it was proven that I did not take any money and use it in a negative way. Matter of fact, the limos that they were talking about, I used to host a premiere for the students where 1,000 parents was out in the bleeding cold. We brought red carpet for the students, limos for the students, skylights for the students to celebrate their success as filmmakers and people who did budgeting and people who did marketing. And we sat out there as their fans to say to them, you are special.
That's right, that's right.
So to make a long story short, then when they couldn't get me with misappropriation of funds, they took a young man who had a history of violence in the school, a history of making false allegations against staff in that school and other schools, and they said, and they got him to testify that Mr. Blake beat me up, and then came up with a corporal punishment charge. And then they used knowing that I had eyewitnesses who was there when I disciplined this young man for bringing a trespasser into my building. They disregarded the eyewitness statements, and they went with hearsay evidence and removed me anyway. And Chancellor Klein, knowing my work, knowing the school, supported it for political reasons. And it all goes back to the history of our people. That's why it's so important when you say about history. Because if you know the history of our people, it was against the law, punishable by death, for anyone to teach a black person how to read. And that mentality and mindset still exists today. Teach them, but don't teach them how to become effective leaders, because once you do that, then your career is punishable by death.
Do you think that we could probably give a phone number that people could get in contact?
No, if they want to contact me, they should go to the website, askblake.com. And the reason why that askblake.com is so important is because it is like Facebook and MySpace, except it's for educators. On that website is my story. But also, a teacher from New York and a teacher from California can talk to each other and brainstorm solutions about what they're seeing. Or a parent who's having frustration with a school can talk to another parent.
Now, what year was that right there?
This all happened within the last year. It was all 2008.
All 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, I mean,
so
it's
you were
still
principal up until 2008?
Until 2008. I mean, we're appealing the decision, but that's important. But to me, it's more important that people become informed and aware of why our schools are not functioning. It's not just class size. It's not just because how do we produce greatness and we were teaching students in one-room schoolhouses. It's about the mentality of the people that are in front of our children. If they don't treat us right, then they'll never teach us right. So I want to encourage parents, principals, and those people who really want to make a difference in the school system, log on to askblake.com and you'll get information about how we can collectively come together to create a new paradigm for our young people.
And which is so important, without a doubt. We got 5 minutes. Anything you want to say, Rebecca, at this moment?
No.
Well, now, all right. Is there a hearing or something that you need to go to? Or?
I went through the hearing, and what we're doing right now is waiting because the hearing was basically a New York City hearing.
Okay.
And so, they're going to reinforce their decision.
And what kind of support did you get from?
From the community, we had thousands of parents. They've had candlelight vigils, NAACP, Congressman Gregory Meek's office, the Southeast Queens clergy. I mean, the list just goes on. The District 29 Parent Teachers Association, as well as my PTA. The community was outraged. You can see the documentary on the website. They were outraged by the removal of a successful principal. And you know what? Even with all that community support, even with the parents saying, we want him, they were ignored.
Wow.
That's why mayoral control of school is dangerous. Because if we had the old structure and the community was still in control of the school, they never would be able to pull anything like that off.
What's the condition of the school now?
The school's going beyond worse
So
than
they
what I
got
had.
drugs back in the school?
Everything.
Lack of education in the
We're
school?
gonna definitely need
That's
to
crazy.
follow up on this show here. So now, is there a date that that the word is supposed to come down, or where you at now?
It can happen within the next 2 to 6 weeks. So we are waiting for a decision that will come down from the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in reference to my particular case.
So at this time, are they still paying you?
No.
Nothing.
This is about the destruction and
They're trying to really
isolation.
tear you down.
Tear me down.
Trying to destroy
It's
me.
not a matter of me not having a job. It's about destroying
The
my
mindset.
credibility, my character, and my will. But they cannot destroy my will
That's right.
because you know what?
gonna
Change
keep
has
on-
come to
Change
America.
is
You're going to keep on
You
Alive.
understand?
You're gonna keep on
So you
educating.
just gave me fire to continue to go.
Yes,
So
sir.
go to askblake.com and get this information.
You heard the brother talking, and so many times we hear stories like this that's never followed up, and we're going to try to stay close to Brother Shongo, and keep his change and keep our change alive. It's so important, especially when you have schools in a city where people don't realize the value of where they at. I often say that I was in Pennsylvania, and a young man said to me, he said, in the cities, you guys move away from the money. He said, we stay by our money. So if we got a company over here, we don't move too far, you know what I'm saying? So we don't value a lot of times that we're in the city, so we don't really know how to put that whole thing together where so much commerce is going on, I believe that if we could get an understanding of where we're at, we would be able to do better and expect better of one another. I often heard Jesse Jackson down in Washington, D.C. years ago say that, you guys own the most valuable real estate right down the street from the White House, you know what I mean?
That's right.
But do you know where you're at?
That's right.
So when you have things like that, we gotta figure out how to give you some support.
Amen.
The Town Talker Church, what's
this
happening now, we're
Yes,
with
sir.
you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
We're with you. So whenever you
This
need
is-
to come on, you got something to say, come on, bring it on, and let's get the work done.
Let's get to work. Let's let our
Where we at
children
in time, Bob?
fail.
We got 1 more minute, so I guess we're just gonna say this right here. Please, America, stop the foolishness.
Please.
Barack Obama is president of America, and not of black America or white America or blue America or
Black
green. He's the
America.
president of America. Let's come together, and let's just end with this. Barack
Obama!
Barack
Obama!
Barack
Obama!
Barack
Obama!
Keep hope alive.
That was fire, brother.
Man, yo, we got to keep this.